The Roma people of Eastern Europe, known more commonly as gypsies here in the US, are on the very fringe of society. Often isolated, rarely educated, it's almost impossible for them to get jobs, and so there is despair, hopelessness, alcoholism, and abuse. My name is Ethan Hawke, and this is the story of one woman who has taken the plight of the Roma people to heart. Her name is Leslie Hawke, and she is my mother. My mother joined the Peace Corps in 2000, wanted to go to Ecuador, but was assigned to Romania, to the provincial city of Bacău. Bacău and its 250,000 residents are still emerging from the fall of communism 15 years ago. There is a growing middle class and a healthy local economy, but not for the people of Roma descent. Within the first few days, she met Alex, an 8-year-old boy who frequently begged during rush hour at the intersection under her window. It was the scene repeated throughout the country. Roma kids on the streets, out of school, doomed to a lifetime of jobless poverty, the cycle guaranteed to repeat. And getting kids like Alex off the street became my mother's mission.
So I wound up the next day taking him to the shelter that the organization I worked for ran, and he stayed there for 3 days. Seemed to be thrilled to be there, but on the third day his mother showed up, absolutely furious that we had taken her, the primary breadwinner of the family, away. And that was my first introduction to the complexities of child begging in Romania and how most of these kids are actually supporting their families. So you can't just take them to an institution and make things better.
Realizing the solution was in helping the families find an alternative way to survive, my mother thought of the Doe Fund in New York City, which helps homeless men get jobs. Then, thanks to a USAID grant program initiated by Ambassador Rosapep, she started a work training program for mothers calling it Ready, Willing, and Able after the Doe Fund program.
It's not just a project for a child, for the children, it's for the family together. And it has very interesting means of changing lives for the families and making mothers work for themselves and find other ways of producing incomes for their own families.
In this recent orientation session for a textile training class, you can hear the despair and the hope.
And my mother is mentally ill. My father was an alcoholic. I decided to get married to take my own life into my own hands. I was too young. I was 16. I've never worked anywhere. I've never been hired.
Did you ever try to get a job?
I tried, but because of the kids, I couldn't leave them alone. Their father's dead. I have to take care of them. It's just so hard, my little girl, and it's hard for me to take care of her. She's got problems. She's had problems since she was born. I want my kids to have a better life than I have, if that's possible. And we realized that there was a real concrete need for actual partnerships, tangible partnerships that were doing something between the NGOs and the local administration, and especially the business community here in Bacău.
It was not difficult at all to get involved in this because Leslie is very convincing, and the message is sending practically galvanized not only my company and myself but all the other people. So yes, we hired in here a few dozens of these women, many of them of Roma origin. And Not to my surprise, but probably to many other people which were a little bit pessimistic in the beginning, they did a very good job and they got integrated pretty well in our company.
Alongside the Ready, Willing, and Able program, my mother started an educational program for the kids to help them get into school, stay in school, and excel. Her team in Baku literally goes door to door recruiting kids for kindergarten and grade school. They work with local educators so Roma kids can be integrated into the regular classes, and they provide hot lunches and after-school activities. They even give parents incentives for sending their kids to school, things like medicine, firewood, and help in getting ID papers.
These children that you see here didn't know what school meant. They used to just stay on the streets. Now the children come here, they learn. You can see that they're well dressed. People are taking care of them. Through this project, there have been brought into the mainstream schools around 214 children. And a portion of these children have continued their studies in mainstream schools within our system. So you can really say that this project achieved its goal of integrating children into the school system here.
Jobs for impoverished families, education for the next generation. These are long-term goals. But visit a Roma home and you see immediate needs. In the tiny settlement of Kolonia, near Buhuj, the Ready, Willing, and Able team gathered volunteers to replace leaky thatched roofs with tin and helped form a neighborhood association.
Because your program is named Ready, Willing, and Able, and this showed them that with a little bit of help, money or materials, themselves could do something. So for them it's very important because it shows that they can do something. It's it's increasing the self-confidence of the people that they can change something through their own resources. Yeah.
But there's much work still to be done. Conditions in this housing complex on the outskirts of Baku are even worse. Ovidio Ram, my mother's non-for-profit organization, continues to work with the city's new administration to address the problems.
Without education, it's practically impossible to get a fairly good job. So that's why I stress that this program, in which Leslie has been so much involved, is in full harmony with what the government tries to do.
She's kind of like a great explorer, kind of like Columbus heading off into the great unknown, not knowing what land he was going to find, what people he would find, what problems, and not knowing whether he'd be able to accomplish anything. And look, here's Leslie, and she's done it. She's managed to have a great success.
She's got more gumption, more backbone than most of us will ever have. She's got that typical New Yorker toughness that it needs to stand up to government officials when they're not letting her do what she needs to do to help these people.
Together with Leslie, we've achieved some very good results, and I'm very proud of them, and I believe that together with her, we're going to achieve very good results in the future, not only here, but maybe across the country.
Nu știu dacă contează până la urmă.
I don't really think it matters if somebody's American or English or what nationality they are. What matters is that you're truly human, and I can say that Leslie has really showed what it means to be human and what it means to be a lady. When I think about Leslie Hawke, I think about the American spirit that wants to be with its neighbors around the world, both in their times of joy and in their times of trouble.
If Maria and I have made any significant contribution, it is to show on the local level that when given the opportunity and support, people will work very hard to improve their lives and the futures of their children.
It never matters if you are a Romanian or Gypsy people or what color did you have your skin. To be in this world, to be open, to be sincerely, to share love. It's very important.